So, on Monday, on Raw, Jey Uso's reign as World Heavyweight Champion came to an end at 51 days at the hands of Gunther. Now, I think after Money in the Bank, a lot of people thought that Jey Uso was not gonna walk out of Raw as champion, right? Either at the hands of Gunther, or more likely at the hands of Seth Rollins. But what does this actually teach us? What does Jey Uso's reign as World Heavyweight Champion actually teach us about the modern climate of WWE, and what you can probably expect from World Champions and World Championship reigns going forward? Well, let me spitball. Let me just kind of talk about how I feel about this, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So, first of all, we need to address the elephant in the room, which is, oh my god, a world title reign that didn't go from Mania to SummerSlam, or SummerSlam to Mania, or Mania to Mania. I know, it's crazy. That doesn't happen in the modern climate, in the Paul Levesque era. It just doesn't happen, and that's kind of a big thing, because I think a lot of people have rightfully said, and I'll say it now, a lot of the B pay-per-views and a lot of like the road to SummerSlam and the road to WrestleMania all feel very predictable in those big championship matches, because in a way you kind of know that like the champion probably isn't going to lose the belt anytime soon. So that's already a big thing, is that like there is now going to be a layer of unpredictability, or at least you would think so. Allow me to explain why I don't think that is fully the case, and that is purely the fact that, well, is it really unpredictability? I mean, everybody said it. Everybody said that like Jey was probably not going to walk out of Raw as the champion because of the fact that Seth had the briefcase, the fact that Gunther was getting a rematch. It felt like something big was going to happen there, right? And like I said, I didn't see Gunther winning. I thought it was going to be a Jey just ekes out the victory and then Seth cashes in, and then boom, Seth is world champion going into like SummerSlam and whatnot. But Gunther winning is honestly a cool thing. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who has Gunther in his top 10 all time, I'm always gonna be happy when that man walks out of there with a championship. But in reality, it shows you what WWE are going for now. And to quote Karrion Kross, it's all about viral moments now, right? Like, Jey Uso winning the Rumble was a polarizing decision, right? It wasn't, you know, some might argue it was a great decision, some might argue it was a bad decision, which means that therefore it is polarizing because nobody's really in the middle on it. One way or another, you had an opinion on Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Just the same as him winning at Mania was polarizing as well. One way or another, you thought it was a good decision for him to beat Gunther or a bad decision. Nobody was really in the middle. Jey Uso's entire run from the Rumble to losing the belt literally a few days ago was all about making moments. Hence why he wrestled Logan. As much as people don't like Logan Paul, myself included, Logan Paul is someone who has those viral moments. Someone who has all of those moments that people will tune in for, because it's kind of like a car crash. You don't want to see Logan Paul win a championship. You don't want to see Logan Paul win a match. But there is always a chance that it happens. There's always a chance that he picks up the world championship. And the longer it goes, the more I'm like, yeah, Logan's probably winning a world championship in the next few years, which is a terrifying thought. But the longer he goes, the more I'm like, they might give him like the Rumble or the Chamber at some point, which would be it would be an interesting one. But yeah, back on topic. It's about viral moments, right? There's no denying that within the arenas, Jey Uso is one of the most popular people in WWE. He is, right? People love Yeet. I like it. Don't get me wrong, it is just a meme from like 2016. It's like a Vine from even earlier than that. But like, you know, that's kind of wrestling. That's just what wrestling is, right? We bring back stuff from years ago and suddenly it's popular again. And like, don't get me wrong, I think that Jey Uso's reign, we can argue what it was, which wasn't great. I'll be real, right? One defense against Logan, and then a pay-per-view where he felt like one of the most least important people in that tag match. That tag match was literally just, really, Cody Cena, R-Truth, or Ron Killings now. Really, Logan and Jey were just there. They were numbers, they were bodies, really, in that match. And, you know, Jey's run always kind of felt like a backseat to everything else that was going on. And that's really weird because, like, even the Gunther stuff when he lost the belt and was going after, like, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole for whatever reason, he felt more important than Jey Uso as world champion. like, you had the Seth Rollins stuff, which felt more important. It bled into the Jey Uso stuff, but their main target was CM Punk and Sami Zayn. The Sami Zayn and CM Punk stuff bled into the Jey Uso stuff, but again, Jey Uso didn't feel like the most important person there. And this leads me into one of the biggest reasons why I think that Jey Uso lost the belt and what it teaches us. And that's that in modern wrestling, the chase is way more entertaining than the championship reign in the end. Everybody wants to see the babyface win the world championship, but then afterwards, unless they're booked in a really specific way, people are going to lose interest and they're going to want them to go back to going for the chase again. And that's the problem. That's the problem with modern wrestling, is you get a babyface, they become super over, you put the belt on them, they have just one of those reigns where they're the conquering babyface, everyone gets bored of it, and then they want the chase again. That's the thing. And I think that we are back to that era now where the chase is so much more important than the championship run. And that's a really, really big issue, because you should be able to book baby faces as world champions really well. I think that Cody's run, whilst it wasn't great, did kind of show signs of having good elements of a babyface world champion. It's one of those things that I think about a lot, which is like babyface world champions, especially in the West, just don't seem to do as well, right? Like, people lose interest, they're not booked as well, and I think Jey Uso kind of suffered from that, right? Because we saw this more like intense side of him to win the belt off of Gunther, and then immediately it was back to the 4 letters, 1 word, yeet stuff, and it's like, okay, mate, the intensity that got you the world championship is the thing you're going to sacrifice. That's a problem. That's a massive disconnect from where we were, and I think that just boils down to the booking. And now we get into the big thing, which is, well, what is Gunther going to do as world champion? Because with Seth holding the briefcase, I don't think Gunther's reign is going to be that long. I don't think Gunther as world champion is, unfortunately, it's not long for this world, to be completely honest with you. I do think that the idea of Goldberg coming back is a massive, massive thing, and I think it is going to happen. Probably at Night of Champions, probably in Saudi, and it's probably going to be Gunther and Goldberg batter each other. Gunther walks out as champion, Seth cashes in at Night of Champions, and then boom, there you go. Seth is now world champion. Maybe Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring, goes on to SummerSlam, wins the big one, Seth cashes in, and then boom, for whatever reason, my WrestleMania 42 prediction was actually true. We are probably getting Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania for the belt. I don't know, but either way, I think that Gunther's reign is only going from here till at least SummerSlam, maybe even Night of Champions. I don't know, it's a weird one. As much as I want to see Gunther with a long run, I just don't think he's the man to hold the belt right now. I think you've got so much stuff going on with, like, Seth and Punk, and now Jey, and unfortunately Logan Paul. Oh, and Sami Zayn, and obviously Braun and Bronson and Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns coming back at some point. Like, unfortunately, the idea of Gunther being the prominent figure has kind of slipped away to Seth Rollins. And I think that, like, the big thing there, we are kind of entering a time now where I feel like we're going to see the World Championship kind of hot potato a little bit. Even if it's only for, like, the next, like, month or so, whilst they get the belt on Seth. And I think that's where we're heading at the moment. I think expect Gunther to have a short run, maybe for someone to beat him for Seth to cash in. So I think maybe we're going to get another, like, two world champions in the space of about the next couple months, I think. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about Jey Uso losing the world title. Does it actually mean anything that I said? Does it actually prove any of the points I was making? Or is it just a case of maybe it was wrong place, wrong time for Jey to still be world champion? More wrestling think pieces here, and if you've already seen all of them, then YouTube really thinks you'll like this video, so maybe consider checking that out. See ya!